Greetings to my esteemed fellows, those engaged in the most worthy of work. I am writing for two purposes, both of which I will seek to make apparent, each stemming from the reality that there are those outside of our purview which do not understand the importance of our place. These have all manner of assumptions and stereotypes regarding our order, primarily that we are engaged in magical and scholarly pursuits, simply because we have no capacity for anything else. Many so-called sentient beings characterize us as lopsided creatures, found like worms as an invasive force wherever books are stored. It is true enough that the power of a wizard is directly related to the breadth and quality of one's information. That being said, the only iota of truth apparent within these common disparagements is that indeed the approach one must follow when seeking ultimate power is often that of specialization. The small-minded masses cannot perceive the complex tapestry we weave, each thread contributing to the glorious whole of full and total understanding of this world and beyond. As we each strive to our individual excellence, I implore my fellow truth-seekers to join me in what I believe will remove a certain weakness that, although yet not apparent, may grow if we are to remain as disparate operators. It is the understanding of this writer that though the need for solitary monastic devotion is necessary for knowledge to grow, still information can be shared through unobtrusive correspondence. To make my own contribution to this conception, I've included data many engaging in the studies pertaining to the third level and above transmutation procedures, or particular strains of alchemy, may find useful. For within these pursuits one may find themselves in need of an Ulson's eye. It is of course possible one may need such an item for another purpose. However, I will not conjure a reason why. Your rationale, fellow scholars, remains your own. The first choice for many of us is to laboriously create contact with a purveyor of curiosities and alchemical extracts. But predictably, their stock is poor quality, if existent at all, and proffered at a ridiculous markup in price. The second option, of course, has been to commission the services of a hunter, mercenary, or barbarian. And beyond the exorbitant fees, the mental toll of having to deal with such individuals alone is almost too much to bear for one so used to more elevated company. Not even to discuss the possibility that our instructions to such individuals, however stilted and plain spoken, may still be misunderstood. It is quite possible that, considering the rigor with which we set to our own work, we may have the false assumption that others are similarly focused and capable. It is foolish to assume this, but I have, alas, fallen to this folly myself. To avoid these hassles of the mundane torture reliably provided by the inept, I've developed a third way of procuring this sought-after additive. This became necessary after a rather unfortunate run of 14 foolish braggarts in a row. They all failed to accomplish the task, and even had the gall to die without returning my advanced funds, which were all taken by the 15th, who left the prize to rot, all while filching a small fortune without respecting the purpose for which they were allotted. They fled, and left me without any recourse. without even a name I could remember, or a lock of hair to avenge the wrongs this fiend perpetrated. This digression, I claim, is quite pertinent. As it is said, spite is the precursor to innovation. After this injury to pride and pocket, I spent 3 fortnights with my full attention upon solving the issue at hand, scrying and recording the patterns of the Ulsan. I discovered much by way of observance, and developed a method by which one with even rudimentary understanding of base principles may be able to replicate my success. In the pursuit of making this correspondence able to be conveyed by a lesser spell of sending, and an attempt to be considerate of my fellows who are wary of any external spell signature above 3rd resonance, I will keep my description brief. The Ulsan is a creature of remarkable habit. The first step is to discover its burrow, which in every instance I've divined, I've found upon a mountain or significantly tall tree. In a counterclockwise fashion from its burrow, the Ulsan travels to each deciduous forest within a day's flight, landing at the point of highest magical concentration, the place often referred to, colloquially, as the forest's heart. But only those centers with a magical concentration of 6th resonance or higher. One may already recognize the significance of these factors. Indeed, it is precisely the conditions where Shattuck anomalies are known to form, those very figures the common folk erroneously call ghosts. There, like many creatures of near sentience, the Ulsan hold signifiers of base religious ritual. Here I ought later to provide some digression to soothe any fellows who may pay certain obeisance to a useful deity. A cacophony of horrid calls and a grotesque dance is performed before it settles into wait, in a mocking facsimile of holding court or receiving the faithful. Each time I observed, at least one Shattuck anomaly would approach with an offering. The largest gathering I witnessed was of 34 within a single night. They approach, slowly and one by one, each holding forth a fruit or an organ of a small creature, which must take no small amount of effort for being so particularly challenged by near incorporeal form, which the Ulsing quickly devours in a single gulping. And therein lies the method of success. The Ulsing is quite incurious of the manner of shade, and in particular with the devouring as well. I've utilized many spirit constructs in this research, and none truly seem to disturb the beast. I'm convinced that any basic lesser construct utilizing spirit as the main component will have no trouble deceiving our bird-brained mark. I recommend an apple, or the heart of a rabbit or fawn. These are both the easiest forms in which to hide a hook. As with any common fisherman's practice, stillness and weight of line are impactful for your success. Do not pull before the line is taunted and trembling. A fisherman's hook is barbed. The simple slipping down is not what catches your target, but the rising of its gorge. One word of caution for your test of my process. Avoid any mundane visual contact with the creature. Utilize divination and constructs for surveillance. Any observation with the naked eye will immediately alert the creature to your location and enrages it. Although I'm sure we can all dispatch it as easily as a finch, the power we wield often leaves little to be harvested. It is sufficient to leave the creature to flail into exhaustion. With luck, it may suffocate on its internal fluids. Otherwise, your method of claiming the ingredients are left to personal discretion. Good hunting, my sage fellows. I do hope to hear of your successful procurements. And again, I do believe tips like these, shared betwixt fellows, can only be beneficial for all. I imagine this to become a recurrent correspondence, where we share that which may be enlightening to each other, especially to end any reliance on those who cannot fathom our pursuits. Respectfully scribed, by the mage of sunken stones across the 7 heavens and the 12 stars of the constellation Victory, the Wizard Lord.